Hola, clase! We're going to talk today about the gender of nouns. Nouns. So a noun, of course, is a part of speech, and it's a person, place, thing, or idea. There are nouns in both Spanish and English, but nouns in English are not gendered. They don't carry a masculine and feminine gender. So this concept is not unique to the Spanish language, but it is different between Spanish and English. Let's get started. First, I want to go over the definite articles. So the definite articles, there are 4 in Spanish, whereas in English there's only 1. And the definite article in English is the. So any place where you would say the in English, you'll say one of these 4 words in Spanish. So the masculine singular definite article is el. And the masculine plural definite article is los. Feminine singular, la. Feminine plural, las. And again, these translate to the equivalent of the in English. Our indefinite articles. Masculine singular is un and plural is unos. Feminine singular una, feminine plural unas. These are the equivalent of the singular a for un and una, and then some or maybe a few for that plural. If I said like some dogs, I'd say unos perros. So the gender of any given noun in Spanish is arbitrary, meaning there is no underlying reason most nouns have the gender they do. I'll talk about how sometimes there is actually a reason, but for the most part, anytime that you have a noun in Spanish, it's masculine or it's feminine, and it's not because there's something about that noun that is intrinsically masculine or feminine. For instance, the word for chair is la silla, but the word for stool is el taburete when we're talking about the stool that you sit on. And so these 2 words are talking about the same thing. There's no real reason why one is feminine, one is masculine. It just is so. And you do need to know the gender of nouns that you use in Spanish, because in order to use the noun correctly, you need to use the right articles before it, and you need to use the right adjectives after it. And articles are gendered, adjectives are gendered, so it all has to match. You can't say el silla. That is an error in the Spanish language. So you need to know that it's a feminine word, la silla, if you want to say the chair. Okay, so for the most part, we can get by just knowing this one very important fact about the Spanish language, and that is that the majority of nouns ending in A are feminine, while those ending in O are generally going to be masculine. That's the most important thing to know about the gender of nouns, right there. A feminine, O masculine. But there is a lot more to it. Now, as I said, it's generally going to be arbitrary, but if you actually have a noun that's talking about a person, if it's referring to a male person, it's going to be masculine. And if it's a female person, it's going to be feminine. So to say teacher, if you're talking about a teacher that's a male teacher, you say el maestro. You could also say el profesor. And if you're talking about a female teacher, you say la maestra. Any profession has these 2 words. And so this is actually one way where the gender of nouns can be really convenient, because we have issues in the English language where we can't call people a fireman. You can't call a woman a fireman. And so you have to say things like firefighter. You have to be careful. But in Spanish, if you're talking about a male firefighter, you'll say el bombero. Or a female would be la bombera, and that's a firefighter. If you're talking about a dude, you say bombero. If you're talking about a lady, you say bombera, and you're done. Okay, it's nice to know that nouns ending in idad, tad, tud, ion, and umbre are feminine. So you can know if it ends in an a, idad, tad, tud, ion, umbre, it's going to be a feminine noun. If it ends in e or another consonant other than like this B consonant, generally going to be feminine, you just have to memorize And so that's why on my vocab lists, when I teach you the word for milk, I'm going to have la leche. And so on my vocab quizzes throughout the year, you're going to have to tell me, you're going to have to include the L or the la to show that you have also learned the gender of the noun, because that's just information that you have to memorize about any given word. It's la leche, but it's el restaurante. They both end in E. One's feminine, one's masculine. No real reason why milk is feminine and restaurant is masculine. As discussed, it's arbitrary. Okay, we have a few times where there's an exception to the rule of the O masculine, A feminine. So the word motorcycle is generally you just say the shortened version, which is moto, but you say la moto. So even though it ends in an O, it's a feminine word, feminine noun. And then la foto. Just like in English, we usually say photo, we don't usually say photograph. In Spanish, you usually say la foto instead of la fotografía. So they end in O, but they are feminine. Okay, a lot of words ending in A were borrowed from the Greek language. And these words, for whatever reason, nouns in Greek are masculine, and that designation of masculine nouns came along with the words as they were borrowed into the Spanish language centuries ago. So if it ends in ama, it's going to be masculine. El problema, the problem. El drama, the play or the drama. El planeta, the planet. So you need to learn ema, ama, eta, masculine, Greek. Ma. Masculine. That's a little trick of mine, like the ema, ama, all end in ma. Though not every ma noun is masculine. There's like la forma. Okay. These three nouns don't fit their designation. So el día ends in an A, but it's masculine. That means day. La mano ends in an O, but it's feminine. That means hand. El mapa, it kind of fits actually into that Greek category, but that's the map. Ends in A, but it's masculine. Okay. Anytime that there is a noun that's a feminine noun, but the first sound in the word is a, you use el in front of it instead of la. So another example would be art. You say el arte. But this word is actually feminine. And when we get into using plurals, it'll be more important to understand this. But yeah, las artes would be the arts. Same with el agua, but las aguas. And finally, we have nouns that end in ista that are talking about people. And if you're talking about a male, it's going to be masculine, female, feminine. So like, for instance, the word dentist, el dentista would be used if you're talking about a male dentist. And la dentista would be used if you're talking about a female dentist. And here we have that exception going on because it ends in an A, but it's masculine because it's talking about an actual male human being. Okay, I hope this video was helpful and nos vemos luego. Ciao.